the
Oh,
National Congress?
no, on the election supervisor.
Supervisor, that's the
Yeah.
only thing.
Okay.
Lacey, would you start the recording, please?
Yep, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a motion to come out of executive.
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor. I need a second. I have a second.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Second Chair Red Eagle, seconded by Councilwoman Harlan. Call for the question, please.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Ahoy, yes.
Oh, good one.
Councilman Redcorn.
Away, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much, council. We are back in session. I'd like to ask that we do entertain any motions coming out of executive.
Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, Councilwoman. And I'm so sorry about said Harlan, but Councilwoman Gray.
And it's okay. I just knew I was up. Okay, so I'd like to make the motion that the OMC appoints Ms. Billy Ponca as election supervisor for the 2022 OMC election.
I'll second that. I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Gray, seconded by Chairman Waller, election supervisor Ponca. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman
Aye.
Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Ahoy, yes.
I should have just moved my lips.
Councilman Redcorn,
Away, yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. With that, I also like to say that I'm very appreciative. I started on election with a lot of these folks in memory of the three I did back in the 90s and 80s. We're going to go with the same process that we took care of last time. With that, I'm going to move on down the agenda. A request for seismic on all concessions. In these cases, we do receive it, and on the one that we came out of, executive, how do we want to take care of the BGI concession extension?
Are you gonna make a motion?
Yeah. Chairman, the second chair, I make a motion that we accept the BGI as a five-year concession.
Yes, sir, and I have it in front of me, and I'll give you the exact dates.
Through 2026, I believe.
Yes, to February 5th, 2026. I need a second.
Second.
I have a second. I have a motion on the floor by Second Chair Red Eagle, seconded by Councilwoman Gray. Any discussion? Councilman Rivard.
Just,
Go ahead, Councilwoman Foreman.
just to clarify, it is not, a 5-year, well, it's intended to be a 5-year extension, but they have to meet certain requirements in order to extend it.
Yes, ma'am.
Each year, there are requirements to extend it further.
And we were also told that we were going to get the updates on the quarter, and if there's any problem there, the council can be aware of the situation, and then that would be on the element of deliverables. Councilman Rivard.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I just thought maybe we might want to amend the motion to include that language that it's subject to the quarterly reporting process and procedures approved by the Mineral Council. So,
Councilman,
if we could throw that in there, that it's subject to that criteria. Thank you.
second chair, I believe it's in the, if you read the concession, it is in there.
Yes.
It is in there, yeah.
Well, I mean, acceptable to us. Yeah, I saw that there was going to be reporting, but I just thought it ought to be reporting that we deemed acceptable.
Yes, sir. As deliverables.
Just thought maybe it ought to have some clarification is all. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The original concession, non-compliance is the termination of the concession.
Call for the question.
Second Chair, you ready? Call for the question, please.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Uncle no.
Councilman Redcorn,
No.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council. I'd like to go on down to the next item, the request for all seismic on all concessions. All right,
Chairman, I have an item in executive.
yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the personnel recommendation as presented.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if I can talk about that, but I think as presented, because it's personal nature, but I'd like to make a motion to accept that title change.
Yes, sir.
Second.
I second. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Redcorn, seconded by Councilwoman Harlan. We have had a position description brought to us in executive, and any other discussion? Councilman Rivard.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I would be a no vote unless we agree to put this out for advertisement, like we do on all the other types of contracting. So, if that's a consideration, I'd like to know. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. If we cannot fulfill the requirement in-house, that is an option, but the nation allows the in-house because of the expertise of the people doing the job. And with that,
I have one comment.
Second Chair.
Thank you, Chairman.
I have, oh,
Yes, ma'am. You'll
I
be next.
just like to reiterate too that, you know, no matter who we put in there, if we bring someone from the outside, they're gonna have to have a little time to catch on to everything, you know. And Lacey has been there, and also I like to point out that she's a
Sir, you cannot.
Say any names.
Cannot talk about
and
it.
a,
Talk about personal matters.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Foreman.
yes, I will also be a no vote because we really haven't vetted this yet. We've just talked about the qualifications that have been written by the person that is going to have the position. And they're not, the title is not agreed to, the qualifications are not agreed to.
Ma'am, your vote
We
will
were
let you
supposed to
know.
discuss it and vet it and make comments. That has not happened. I will be a no vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, Chairman,
Councilwoman Gray.
thank you. I'm gonna advise the council, that we are not to say anyone's name in open meeting. I think we all know that. We've discussed a title change, and I'll be voting in favor of that and call for the motion.
Call for the
The
question.
excuse me.
Councilwoman Foreman,
This is a conflict of interest and I'm voting no.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Oh, yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Ole, yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
No.
Chairman Waller.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'm all in this because I've sat here so long. I want to recognize each and every one of you at this time. I have had the luxury of being on 4 groups. I want to tell you is that we're on our 8th year. And we need to show some stability coming through the next. I do appreciate the comments about what we need, but also I just want to say this is that I'll try to work with all of you. I'm trying my hardest.
Thank you, Chairman.
And with that, let's move on. Item B, production tracking. Councilwoman Foreman. Yes, Councilwoman Foreman.
Thank you. Can you share the screen, please?
That's what I couldn't do a while ago. Yes, we can.
Give her
Yes, we're gonna allow the host, and then she's gotta give it back, or we'll have to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, thank you. Let's see here now.
You're the host, man.
Okay, can everybody see this form?
Yes.
It is, let's see if I've got to figure out how to move it around.
You're showing,
We
You're
can
showing-
actually be showing
you
those
cannot
numbers.
show those, you can't be showing the name.
Okay,
That's
well,
confidential.
Cannot show it, can you?
let me stop the share.
You can discuss items.
What you just saw, sorry about that. I mean, it's just production information, but
It has,
what you just saw was what we get. It was one form that it comes in 3 different forms for production reporting required by the BIA. We get those quarterly. We get 3 months at a time every quarter. So we've been getting this information for 10 years. We decided quite a while ago to hire a new staff member to start tracking production. And I need to bring up the spreadsheet now, which does not have that. Well, no, it has the proprietary information too. So I'm going to have to just email you the spreadsheet and the production reporting forms. But we did hire a staff member to start tracking this production. I'm guesstimating that with 10 years of these reports, it might take one staff member 1, maybe 2 months to get this stuff on a spreadsheet so we can actually track our production by lease, see how it's rising and falling and where it's going. This is so critical for our business to make smart decisions. And I have finally put together, because I keep asking, I'll help anybody that is assigned this task to create a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet format will allow us to download it in our osageminerals.org. So, and I'm working with our geologist as well as our data consultant to, to figure out what format, what bits of information we need. And I wanted to show this to you because we need to get this started. We need to, if now that we have an upgraded position, we have a person that needs to get this assigned and needs to get it started with one of our staff members. So we've already had a resolution to do this. I'm not sure what the holdup is, but I will email the spreadsheet to Lacey and the chairman, well, the entire council. If you have any thoughts, please let us know.
Thank you.
This is part of our data enhancement work and design work. So I just wanted to show that to you and bring it to your attention that we need to get this started.
Chairman, question.
Yes, Councilwoman, thank you.
Thank you.
I go to Councilwoman Gray, then Councilman Rivard.
Thank you. One of the things that was just excellent about going through NIOGEMS and learning that program and how it can interact with what we're doing, and we, through our great conversations that we had with DEMD, it was apparent that we have to review our budget and look at some of the job description of adding ArcGIS to someone who can do nothing but just check what work with the nation, work with our program, with our well plugging, everything that we're doing and inserting that. It was just absolutely fascinating about where we could go and really be caught up with the innovation of what other tribes have, and also being a true competitor in this industry. And I think those of you that were here, we all had that discussion of adding that type of position. We've got people that have so many multitasking. We are understaffed. We are underfunded. We have so many needs as we are moving along with this, with everything we're looking at, whether it's from gas measurement to hydrogen to Terra to business development to EOR. I mean, there's just so many different areas that it's all encompassing. But one thing that we think we all can agree on is that that GIS position will be key. And I think when some of the other council members who, were not able to make the training for 2 days, that they will see, it's an eye opener of what we can do. So, but those are my comments, Chairman.
Thank you.
Yes, I have my hand up again.
I will let the others speak, and I'll come right back to you for close.
Okay.
Councilman Redcourt.
Thank you, Chair. Are we making an action on this, Ms. Foreman? Is there a motion?
No, we've already taken the action to have a staff member do this. I wanted to show everyone, but as it turns out, I couldn't, and I'll email it to you, how this can be done and how important it is. I think it'll be a real eye opener. If you've never looked at our quarterly reports, this information is vital and key, and we should have been tracking it.
If I can, I'll use my time and say, I agree with your resolution as stated. You're not asking for a motion. I agree we need to continue that effort. I would, however, like to consider what Ms. Gray's saying, Councilperson Gray, is that we looked at this Nile Gym system, which gets a daily dump or monthly dump from the BIA, and our assurances that the production data is near probably the best data in the system. Everything else, we're figuring out that there needs work. But as far as production, I think, since that's how we get paid, we went through lawsuits over this. I mean, it's probably as accurate as I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying, there's other areas like the well locations and all that. So Councilperson Gray is correct. I think we need to have a broader discussion on maybe rolling this out, verifying in the field, a GIS system working with the nation. So I think we ought to take your recommendations on production tracking and mesh it in with maybe an ArcGIS, Neogems discussion.
Right.
Thank you.
I do want to clarify one item is that what you have just asked, Mr. Tatum and Mr. Weber, once you go into the training, online, virtual, I think it'll answer everything that you need.
Yeah.
We saw some necessities. Also, there's another training element that DMD has for Nile Gyms for this exact input. So you and the staff will be together on that. From what I've seen, I think it's going to be a great answer it's so much better than what I saw 22 years ago.
Yeah.
This is Nile Gyms 4,
It was
and it does cover that, Councilwoman Foreman. So.
Okay. Well, okay.
And you'll be happy to answer, these instructors are just really good and helped us along, and we'll be better ready to function because I'm gonna go through the training again. You just can't get enough of a good thing.
Okay, well, my hand is still up.
Yes, and Councilwoman Foreman.
Thank you. Yes, I'm absolutely aware of the importance of ArcGIS training. That's why I suggested it for our staff several months ago. No one took advantage of it, unfortunately, but I think we still need to get them trained up in that. Having a specialist in that area is also great to help, to help with our data system. One of the issues on tracking this production and working with our data specialist is having control. Our geologist will tell you that the production information, and I see it in what they're giving us from the BIA, is not complete. It's not followed closely. They're underfunded, they're understaffed, they don't do a great job. So the reason we need to track it is to have control of it. And we have some really great ideas for having producers fill out those forms on our system so we get it first. And we don't have to rely on the BIA or the DEMD to give us partial information. So if we can set it up to make it easy for our producers to fill out these forms and submit, where it's 24/7, not TAMS, where it's just during working hours. So there's a lot that goes into why we want to do this and getting control of it ourselves. Councilmember Redcorn talks all the time about not relying on the feds, taking control ourselves, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get accomplished here. So I think you guys will be very excited about, some of these ideas that we're coming up with.
Thank you. That is Charles 3 in my lawsuit I filed 21 years ago. I appreciate it. Thank you. Council, can we move on?
I got a comment if I may.
Councilman Redcorn.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, Ms. Foreman. Everything you're saying, when I saw Nada Gyms, I think there's 15 steps that have to happen. They've already done. So I would recommend you jumping in that training. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you're not. And I'd like to have that discussion after you take the training. But I'm convinced, at least on the oil production side, we are closer than creating our own system. And Nile Gyms takes the dump from the BI once a month, and my research in this with Teddy Fledger and everybody else we've gone through the years, oil is probably as solid as we're gonna get. Now, gas has some movement. I've said this to you many times, so there might be work there. Maybe you wanna concentrate on your gas production side, but I think we've got 15 steps already taken care of, as Ms. Gray's saying, with Nile Gyms and the system they're using. We won't have to recreate the wheel. But I would encourage you, please take that training, and then we can talk after. If you don't agree, we'll consider your steps.
Yes, Councilwoman, is there any other discussion? I'd like to move on down. Councilwoman Harlan, you are excused. I know that you have a national meeting that you're attending. I'm going to have to step off here in just a couple of minutes to prepare for mine. With that being said, I'd like to go on down to the next item, selection of an auditor. Councilwoman Foreman.
Well, our last meeting, Chairman, you agreed that you would send us the rankings. We don't have those, so I guess we got nothing to discuss here.
Let me table that because I did understand that we had other RFPs that I was answering to, but you asked specifically about the one that the council stepped to do internally back in April. I took office on March, whatever the 22nd, whatever the date was, but if you will, please allow me to table that.
Second.
I'll go ahead and request that we table this.
Thank you.
Because we need, the council agreed to hire an auditor. Well, let me back up. I want to remind everyone that our settlement has very few remedies for fixing things. But the one thing that's a real diamond in the rough is the fact that they are going to allow us to go into, the BIA is allowing us to go into their offices and look at their records and audit them. So we need a highly specialized, COPUS was one of the Council of, it's certification of the Council of Oil and Gas Accountants that have special training. In
I would
oil and
rather
gas
you not say
production.
their names, just to talk as vendors.
That's not a company. That's a professional organization that certifies oil and gas accountants in the highly technical field of oil and gas revenue and production accounting. So at any rate, we, as a council, we decided that we need to take advantage of that option under our settlement and hire an auditor to go in and start auditing the BIA records. Last February, I hope I'm not getting this mixed up with another one. We've gone through the whole procurement process. The only thing we don't have are the rankings that have been held up. Now we're in a position to get them, we need to see those rankings and make a decision on who to hire.
Yes, Mr. Reynolds.
This was about the time that the procurement person left. So you guys turned in the rankings and that's where it stopped. She left, we never received them back.
Yeah, no, we turned in the ratings. Now, no, they have the rankings. They've already done the rankings. They've been held up for months.
We have not seen them, is what
I'm not going to say who held them up. I'm just going to say it's time to get the rankings.
Yes, ma'am. I've requested table and we will look into that.
Okay.
Thank you,
Can I use your mic?
Councilman. He's holding it over here. Okay. I want to haul in. Put one.
Again, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Foreman, Councilperson Foreman. I would request Ms. Foreman to talk to procurement, talk to Claire Wood, talk to the executive office, talk to our accounting, and give us a report on what's the holdup on this auditor. I voted, I'm full in favor of that, but I think you probably need to make a trip to the nation and kind of do a survey, what's going on and who's holding it up. And that's what I would say, you know, if you sponsor something like, I mean, any of the projects, we gotta jump in the hornet's nest and ask those tough questions around the nation. And I know you're probably COVID, and I understand that, but I've always found myself on the doorstep is probably the best way to get on that doorstep, and you'll get some maybe different answers than a phone call. And I mean, that's just experience I have, because things can drag if you don't push it. If you got a project, I think you sponsored this. That would be my recommendation. I'd like to hear what you find out once you have a sit-down visit with AG, with the procurement. We've got a new procurement officer now. Claire Wood, Tammy, who was there, is no longer there. So they're trying, you know, they're growing right now, and the whole nation's learning, not just us. Lacey's shaking her head. You know, even our stuff, we got to find ways to push it through. So if there's something you really believe in, and I voted for it and I support it, I would recommend, you know, taking a trip to Pahuska and get on the doorstep of some of these and see where we're at. Because I think sometimes I even tell people around me they would rather me take a phone call. I'd rather say I like to get on their doorstep.
Right.
And you just got to, because this is Indian country, and that's the way I've seen things happen. We can't, expect people to do it. So.
Keep working your way through it.
Thank you.
My hand up.
Yes,
May I respond to
Yes.
that, please, Chairman?
this will be the last step.
Thank you, Councilman Redcorn. Great advice. I actually did go to procurement and ask them. They advised me that Chairman Waller told them not to release it. Lauren White did. So that's why I keep bringing it up. Plus, I can't go. We have to, you know, they told me that I have to go through the chairman. So I think that advice is good for the chairman to go and get the rankings and then release them to us so we can make the decision on hiring the auditor.
Yes, stand by just a second. I have the floor.
That's the fact.
Yes, I have the floor. I'd stand by. Where is my email that says I stopped him from doing that? Have you
It
ever seen
wasn't an
it?
email. Lauren White told
I
me.
know, dear. Wait, excuse me, I have the floor. I have my executive administrative assistant who's now going to have another title. I didn't have that sent. I've been told this about 3 times. I don't ever have an email that I sent you to direct them to stop it. I wouldn't, and then secondly, don't use their names in an open meeting discussion, but I think I want them to send me the email where that is done. And now that you have brought it up in a public meeting, I'll take it to task with Lacey. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to get the rankings. That's all.
Well, it goes longer than that once you said what you just said.
I'm just repeating what was told to me.
Yeah, you're gonna put it in print in an email so I can take it to their supervisor.
Okay, I'll be glad to.
Thank you. Oh, you will, and that's gonna be a decision now because of that. I didn't hold any rankings then. I wasn't even in that when this developed in February. That happened to be the other chairman who I just value so much, and then we lost him. So with that being said, I'll do my best on that, but I'm looking at Lacey and we'll be on that. Now I've got to go to the next item. To table. I have a motion on the floor to table. Ma'am, do you have the first and second? Yes, dear, call for the question.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes,
Councilwoman Foreman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you very much. Budget, item 6D, Councilwoman Foreman.
Thank you. Let me see if I can read this thing.
She's still there.
I had asked, we need to have a budget, report. And I see one, that's been posted. I can barely read the columns. I just am, and I asked that Ryan Armstrong, be here, and if Lacey's here, maybe she can start answering some questions about this budget, but we need to know where we are. We need to know how much money we have.
I can answer this.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, dear, continue, and I can answer it.
Oh, okay. Where the money's gonna come from for some of these things we're agreeing that we need to hire. I guess everybody's looking at the budget that's before us, that's in, Govinda. And, I'm a little concerned about, the legal fee item. I thought we were all paid up on that, and it shows us in, behind, and.
Excuse me,
someone please
I can take
explain
care,
that
we can
and
answer that
continue to pay out
directly.
of that?
Ma'am, excuse me. Please answer that.
Due to the fiscal year just starting October 1, no money has, other than travel and maybe some office expenses, that's all that's actually been spent. It says that we're in the negative on legal fees because we do a blanket PO for when they come through. It's easier, quicker, get them paid.
As requested.
Yes, we are not in the negative on anything yet. There might have been some coding issues, but we are working on getting that fixed.
But that's on their end.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Well, so my question is then, so you're not showing the new appropriations of monies and our new budget money? The $500,000 drawdown isn't in here?
the new appropriation of monies is a different budget. That's the C395 that's in there. The new appropriation we haven't touched yet.
Through procure accounting.
Okay, what are we looking at? Are we looking at the C395?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And it does not have the new fiscal year's money reflected. Is that what I'm hearing?
The C395 is different than the money coming from the nation. That's a completely different budget.
Right.
So what you're looking at is a C395.
Okay, well, what I need to know is all of it. What have we got, where do we draw from to pay various things like professional fees and legal fees?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
upgraded positions. This doesn't tell me that. We need to see all of it.
It doesn't have to.
Well, okay, and I understand that, but as a council member, I'm responsible for, overseeing our budget.
I'm more responsible.
Chairman,
And thank you, but I just need to see where we are.
Yes, ma'am.
Where we're gonna draw money from to pay this contractor we've just agreed to hire for the yard, and to pay, and by the way, we did have encumbered monies for, like our gas consultant and our, data consultant. I don't see that here.
Once they zero out the monies that are spent through this year's funding and allocations, you will have that opportunity then. I'm actually going to wait until the county does deliver that. And they are burdened with the other, how many programs? 180?
Yeah.
And don't they have 180 programs? Being a former employee, I know that.
Chairman,
So when might we expect to get something where we could actually get some of these questions?
When they get done reconciling the monies of the fiscal year.
So is the question that she's asking is where the money's gonna come from? Because the C395 is what we pay everything from.
Yes.
We will pay, the money that was appropriated for specific purposes will go towards those purposes.
As allocated by the
Yeah,
Congress.
we will follow.
Guys, I'm about
We'll
done
take
here.
theirs, legal fees first from theirs, and then we'll start coming from ours. The new ones will come from the C395 professional fees.
Well, in the interest of time, I'm just going to put in an email and send to the council the questions that I have about the budget, because what you're showing me today will not answer the questions. So, because we don't have the updated version. So
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
just, I don't have any more questions.
Thank
Unless
you.
somebody else does.
They do not. Do I need a resolution to table that? A motion?
Motion to table it out.
I'm so
No,
moved.
we've talked about it.
If we just go on the next issue, we're done talking about it,
Okay.
we'll just go on to the next.
No, wait, stop. Do I need a resolution to table? Or otherwise, can I
You know
handle
what?
this?
I'll make a resolution to table and such time.
I'm not asking, Derek, hang on.
Oh,
I'm not asking for that yet. You gotta wait till I ask you.
okay.
Ms. Reynolds, do I need one?
Since there's no action being taken, yes, you need a motion to table. And you're bringing it back. You need a motion to table.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Foreman, seconded by Councilman Redcorn. Call for the question, please.
I haven't finished making my resolution, my motion.
What is your motion, dear?
My motion is to table the budget discussion until such time that the nation sends us our new budget so that we can, so we know where we stand with how much money we've got to spend. So table until we get the final budget with all the new money on it.
Second.
Okay. Stand by just a second. It should be just to table the budget. That's what the resolution should say. What's the other, we don't have to add in the part about when the county gets it back to us.
Right.
I'm just voting to table.
Council, I'm gonna just vote to table.
We gotta.
Is that all right, Ms. Foreman?
Can I get it tabled?
I have a motion on the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure that it gets back on another agenda, but we can just ask for it to be on the agenda. Let's
Yes,
just
ma'am.
make the motion
To
to,
table.
I will change it to make the motion to table the budget discussion.
Second, you're
Second.
fine. Thank you, dear. Call for the question.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Secretary Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item E, natural gas rules.
I'm gonna make a motion to table this one.
Thank
I'm
you.
not
I
really
get
sure what
that.
it's on here.
That'd be great. Second, I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Foreman, seconded by Councilman Redcorn. Call for the question to table.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar, Chairman Waller,
Yes. Aye.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Chairman, I'll make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes.
Second, I have a motion on the floor by Second Chair Red Eagle, seconded by Chairman Waller to accept the meeting minutes. Call for the question, please.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
And I'll sign this and make it official and leave it here with you so I can get on my next
Councilman
meeting.
Redcorn,
Yes.
Secretary Red Eagle.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned.
Second. Motion by Councilwoman Gray, seconded by Chairman Waller for adjournment. Call for the question, please.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, council. With that, we are adjourned.